Blog Talk Radio. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Spirituality of the Cosmic Mind. I am your host, Tracy Lee of Zeta Line Healing. Website www.zetalinehealing.com. I apply holistic methods to provide long-term and effective alternatives to traditional medical practices for people and pets. If you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. Tonight we're back with part 2 of our two-part series, which is the 13 Steps to Awakening with Deraj Navillus. I'm going to go ahead and patch Deraj in. Deraj, can you hear me?
Yep. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. Had a big smile on my face all day and ready to get this second part rolling and shared with everybody. Yeah. So before we get into the meat of the second part, I wanted to go ahead and ask you a question because I've gotten a lot of feedback from people that are curious about these readings you're doing for $11 on your Facebook page, which is the Mind Awakener, obviously, and they're akashic readings. And can you tell the listeners what an akashic reading is and what it entails?
An akashic reading is basically a way I can tap in and read a past life that you had experienced before. The akashic records it's the morphic field, and every thought, every word, every action, everything gets imprinted into it like a library, like a hard drive. It's basically a giant cosmic computer. Very cool.
Yeah, that's something I'm super interested in as well, and I have done a little bit of research and study and even channeling on. And one thing that's always been mind-boggling to me is so many of us are so old, and we've had so many different types of past lives and different planets, galaxies, maybe even universes. So when you do an akashic reading, which information do you think comes through? Because obviously you can't give all of it at once.
What I see is the information that comes through is usually the information that needs to be relevant to the third party I'm reading for, or to the second party. But every reading's always all different, and everyone takes away something different out of each experience too.
And guys, you should go on Deraj's Facebook page, which, like I said before, is facebook.com. I think he has it now, the Mind Annihilator, but if you type in Mind Awakener, you can find him on Facebook and read some of the reviews. Some of the reviews are so mind-blowing and mind-boggling. People really are connecting with the information that's coming through. A lot of times, things that you've experienced in past lives, people say, wow, that's something I'm experiencing now, and it will keep you from making the same types of mistakes from one life to another. And I think that's why we're here is to increase consciousness and learn from our previous mistakes and lessons. So if you have a chance, please do go check out those reviews and check into having an akashic reading for $11, which really is a steal. Anything else you want to add about that?
Just come see me. I do energy work too. I can help unblock your chakras, clear your aura out. I do all kinds of stuff. Just hit me in a PM, talk to me, and see what's up. And
we'll let you share that information again at the end of the show as well. Before we dive into Step 9, which is where we left off last time, let's do a brief recap of Step 1 through 8 with an emphasis on Step 5, which is something we spent a long time talking about, where people tend to get stuck in this fight or flight. And you and I were talking off the air about the fact that as human beings, we have a reptilian and a part of our brain, which is fight or flight. And a lot of times in Step 5, people get stuck here. And if they choose the flight, they kind of run away from awakening ascension, and they kind of shut the door because they're kind of scared about what they see, and they don't really know how to handle it. But then some people, like we talked about last time, get stuck in this fight mode where they're just angry and they just want to say F the system and fight against everything. And one thing that kind of resonates with me is this is how I kind of feel about anonymous worldwide hackers, that they're kind of there to get people stuck in this Step 5 mode. What do you think about the Anon guys, Deraj?
Well, I think the idea is a great idea, but the people leading it are trying to lead it into chaos. Because what better way for the controlling powers that be that don't want to give up power but want to stop the opposition? You control the opposition. And that's what they basically did. But they gave us the tool for their own destruction by giving us that idea and the unity behind it. Because a few people lashing out in violence isn't going to make the entire country and world give them a reason to come out full force into a police state and everything.
Right. I agree with that. And I agree to some respect that it does unify these people that are kind of like-minded individuals, so to say. But it also kind of groups them in one place. So it's kind of like a psyop where the people running this group can kind of keep tabs on all the people who are starting to be awakened. How do you feel about that?
They can keep tabs, but it's basically like 10-1. If those 10 people stand together against this one person, that one person has no shot. Nonviolence and everything. So let them keep tabs, but let the information keep flowing.
It kind of reminds me of, people who manufacture guns and then sell them to the opposite side of the war, and then their army gets, shot and killed by guns that their own country manufactured. That's kind of what can happen here with Anon, is they're creating a monster that can lead to their own downfall.
I agree.
All right. So that's kind of a brief recap of steps 1 through 8. We talked about getting stuck in step 5. We talked about tuning into God and tuning into this love energy. And what I want to do now is plunge into the next several steps. I'm going to read step 9 so everybody can hear it. Excuse me while I just pull it up here. All right, step 9. Let's see here. Excuse me. My computer's being slow. Here it is. Okay, step 9. The realization this reality is only created and exists because the light cannot exist without the dark, as the dark cannot exist without the light. Seeing this dimension as a beautiful dance between polar opposite energies, so different they complement each other and could not exist without each other. Knowing this is a low vibratory dimension of duality, good and evil, right and wrong, yes and no, a world created on a paradox. There's a lot of parts to that, and I think the emphasis here is this duality issue, good and evil, right and wrong. What's going on with that?
Well, this entire dimension's created on that. It's a love-fear energy that creates everything in this universe. Every action, something cannot grow unless it's love. Something cannot be destroyed unless it is feared. Or it's just like the natural cycle. Those energies go from the microcosm to the macrocosm, from actions to natural laws of nature. These two energies exist throughout everything.
So one thing that I find troublesome here about this, the dualistic nature of our very existence, is that people get stuck way too far towards the light. I look online now on the internet, on social media, everything is love and light, ixnay on the darkness, and darkness is bad, darkness is bad. And of course, if you're all the way extreme in one way or the other, it's, we want to find balance, and balance is the key to everything, in my personal opinion. So how do you feel about this group of people that are so far towards the light that they're creating their own kind of war and negativity with all this negative kind of energy and words and actions they're throwing towards the dark side?
Every single thing in this universe is about balance. And that goes for attitude, for thoughts, for even beliefs. You can't be too right-wing or too left-wing in any type of thought process. If you're too much light, then you see darkness as a bad thing. And that seeing darkness as a bad thing is a fear-generated instinct that makes you lash out and hate and create that type of vibration. And same thing on the other end. If you sit around and hate everything, you need balance, that's all.
I totally agree here. And I know when I do my healings, I come across a lot of different types of entities, but I never conduct spiritual warfare, and I never do anything harmful to the entity. I always try to encourage it to leave peacefully, sometimes escort it off, but it's always taken to a safe place, and it's always offered healing, and it's always put in a position where it's not going to harm anyone else again. But I think that kind of more the old school is, banishing entities, casting out demons, and this type of thing. And I just want to encourage people to realize that there's two sides to every fight. Anyway, moving on to step 10. Step 10 says, the realization that this world will never be truly all good or bad. Knowing the way to leave this dimension in spirit and not to get recycled back into a lower dimension is to love all things without attachment. Attachments breed fear, and this is a reality where fear is the controlling factor for consciousness. All right, tell us about that. Break it down.
All right. Right now, we live in a 3D world, a third-dimensional reality. All lower dimensions are learning dimensions. The higher dimension you go, the higher vibration you are, the closer to God creation you are. We're in the third dimension right here. You could, I'm not even sure what this is. I have a few theories, but this could even be just a planet for our higher dimensional selves when we mess up in higher dimensions and do something evil or throw karmic justice out there. It comes back on us. It knocks our soul or our higher dimensional selves down more levels to these lower dimensions where we have to learn all over again and build our spirit back up. That's one theory. I have probably about 3 of them, but this world is just what it is. It's a learning lesson, a learning place.
I want to go ahead and just for the sake of the listeners and their voice, play devil's advocate, because it says here that attachments breed fear, and fear is a controlling energy. And there's a lot of people who would say, hey, well, I love being attached to, for example, like my twin flame or my soulmate, and I love being attached to my home and my place. Like, you know, attachments, some people would say they even breed love because you hang on to something and that means that you're attached to it and it becomes a part of you. So playing the devil's advocate, how would you respond to someone who thinks in that manner?
I'd have to tell them that's just a distorted version of love. That's not true love. True love is being unselfish and loving all things without attachment. Attachment breeds fear, and fear breeds ego, and ego breeds ownership. Ownership breeds jealousy, and so on. That's not true love. True love is unselfish love, loving for everything without a need to want it, a need to own it, a need to possess it or control it.
Yeah, they always say that if you truly love something, you know, let it go, and if it's meant to be, it will come back to you. Otherwise, it's not meant to be. And then, first of all, let me break it in 2 parts. What do you think about that motto?
I like that motto. It's true. It's a very good motto to live by.
And I've had a Tracy Space Cadet moment, Spacey Tracy, they used to call me when I was a kid, and I forgot the second part of what I was going to ask about that. But if I remember it, we'll come back to that. I don't want to forget about it. But I want to move on to step 11, which says, understanding good and evil do not exist, knowing one can only save oneself. You give the answers and leave the keys for all those around you to find and use. For you may lead one to the door of spiritual conscious freedom, but it's up to them to pick up the keys that lay before them to open their own door. So before I even let you talk or ask you to respond to this one, I'm going to jump right into devil's advocate role here and say some people are just going to flat out disagree and say there is evil in this world. Hitler was evil. You know, child pedophiles are evil. Murderers are evil. Drunk drivers are evil. How do you respond to this argument?
I'd have to tell them they're right and they're wrong, because evil only exists if you're looking at it through the human goggles. If you're able to take your conscious and take a step back and look at it from God's point of view, you see God created everything, and what you perceive as evil is just a perception, an illusion. Everything is created of God, and everything has its purpose here. Right,
but still, I hear people say this all the time, that they're so convinced that there is evil in this world. And so, and then they will refer to the religious, and I know how you and I feel the same about this, but, you know, they'll start quoting the Bible and, you know, how evil was cast out of heaven and whatnot, and God has his back on evil. What do you say to people who, when you say that God loves everything, some people will say, yeah, well, God sends people to hell, or God turns his back on certain people who have done X, Y, and Z?
There's not really much to say to someone like that, because their mindset right there is protecting their beliefs, and they're going to lash out at you with ridiculous statements just to calm themselves on the inside, no matter how ridiculous it seems to anyone else. So I just say peace be with you on the journey.
And I agree with you there too. And I run across a lot of people like this who start quoting scripture and the Bible and religion, and I feel like a lot of religions breed fear. You know, if you don't believe this, you don't live this way, you're going to go to hell. You know, every religion has a fear aspect too.
Can I tell you a little quote about the Bible I like to use? The Bible
Absolutely.
was written. The Bible was made to enslave the minds of fools, and also made to enlighten wise men.
I love that quote. I've heard you say that before. And my interpretation of what you're saying is take what's good from it, learn from the lessons it teaches, and apply those lessons to your life and to your world, but don't take it literally per se.
Exactly.
All right. Totally agree there too. And the final step here, it says, you understand there is no other emotion that can save you but love. And spreading it is the only way to give others a way to save themselves. Knowing no matter what happens in your life or the world, all is always perfect, ... 8D. Break it down. What does this all mean?
Well, basically, you realize that fear controls this entire plane of existence, and you can't resonate at the love level because the love level is a higher vibrational level, and that brings you higher in dimension. And the higher you get in dimension, the closer to God's source energy you become. The more things start to open up for you, the more things start to happen, the more your thoughts actually become realities. And the only way to save others is to spread it and let them feel it, let them know it, because vibration spreads. And that's what this entire universe is about. When you realize that, you realize a lot of things.
And that everything is about love. And for those of us who are curious about what is up with this 8D and what does it mean, I know what it means to me, but tell the listeners what 8D means to you.
Well, it could be just some glasses on a big smile. It could be the infinity sign, or it could be a sign for the eighth dimension. I could be a genius, or I could be a madman, too. You never know.
But what is the eighth dimension like? And I know, like you said before, that could be an entire show just talking about it. But just give us like a snippet of information. Like what is it like when you experience the eighth dimension?
8D is the world of light. All beings are streams of light, points of light, balls of light. It's basically the realm of angels, if you want to say that. Okay,
interesting. And we'll definitely have to hit that topic back up again sometime. And before we kind of conclude everything, it just did dawn on me what I wanted to talk about with attachments. Moving a little bit backwards to step 10, because I think this is something important to touch on. There's a lot of people out there who spend a lot of money paying psychics and healers or whatnot to cut energetic attachment cords. And when people come to me and ask for this service, I explained to them that this is a process that happens over time, and that these energetic attachments are like magnets to where you can let it go, but it can easily come back to you if your frame of mind changes. How do you feel about energetic attachments, since we're saying not to be attached to things, and how do you feel about people's means and ways of cutting these cords?
I totally agree. I know people go out there and asking others to help them, but they have to realize it's a 50-50 symbiotic relationship. You have to want to help yourself first. All the help begins at home.
Exactly. And if you're listening, go ahead.
I'd also like to say this, that I believe that these bodies we have here, we didn't have these a long, long, long time ago. Before, we were just beautiful light beings, Merkabas, spirit light bodies. But somehow along the way, we got tricked into these, and these are actually biological conscious prisons. They constrict our true power and our true consciousness, give us amnesia, and make us live from fear. That's why the cards are kind of stacked against humanity once they're born into these bodies.
And going back to how we started off the show, which is coming full circle, that's also the reason why when whoever made us, they put that fight or flight DNA code in our brains, and that's meant to stop us from reaching our true potential.
I agree. Indeed.
Cool. Indeed. Yes, indeed. We believe. So that was a lot of information we just went through. And again, we'll post this information and all the steps underneath the video. Of course, Jared's page, The Mind Awakener. Guys, take the time to see Jared. Send him a personal message, like he said, get an akashic reading. And we really want to hear from you guys, the listeners. What would you like to hear us talk about? What kind of questions do you have for Jared? Deraj Navillus, online persona. I get confused sometimes, but Spacey Tracy again.
So blow.
Exactly. I love it. I absolutely love it. But like I said, reach me through my website or send Jared a personal message and let us know what you'd like to hear talked about. And Jared, Deraj, do you have anything else to add for the people listening?
No, just thank you for listening. And if you guys want to get in touch with me, go to my Mind Awakener page and PM me and come talk to me, see what's up, me some questions, and if you like, get a reading or something. Thank you, guys.
And Deraj, thank you so much. And guys, if you'd like to get in touch with me, I specialize in psychic surgery and distance healing, medical issues for any distance, any condition. And again, that business name is Zetaline Healing, Zetaline. It's on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and ZetalineHealing.com. Again, this is Spiritual Odyssey of the Cosmic Mind. I'm the host, Tracy Lee, and we've been speaking with Deraj Navillus, the Mind Awakener. And we thank you so much for tuning in and truly appreciate your time and welcome your feedback. Love and peace, guys.
Good night. Was it good? I was asking if it was good.